Hey guys, Chris Clark here. In light of a lot of things that have happened this past day, it was great for me to just sit down and escape it all and talk to probably the competitor that means the most to me in the Schmoedown besides Robert Meyer and Burnett, William the Beast Bibbiani. I got to sit down with Bibbs for over like 30 minutes or so, and it was telling. It was great. It was a great experience, and it was what everybody needed. I have interviewed Bibbs in the past. This is my second interview with him. The first one was right before the live show, and it was like 10 minutes or something. But this one is full. It's extensive. It's extended, and it will also be featured, a piece of it, in this week or next week's Take 3 Summit. But I hope you guys enjoy. This was such an honor for me to do. And yeah, so sit back, relax, get a cherry coke, and keep rocking. I am now here once again with William the Beast Bibbiani. How you doing, Bibbs? It's been a rough one.
It's been a rough one for everybody, but I'm hanging in there. We're all hanging in there. We're all doing the best we can. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Let's get to some Schmoedown questions, my man.
Let's do it.
Yep, cool. We're gonna go through Schmoedown. We're gonna do Schmoedown, some fan questions of the Schmoedown, and then I'm gonna ask you some general questions about your career. All right?
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. So for Schmoedown, what was your overall thoughts going into your ill-fated match with Late to the Party?
Well, with Late to the Party, I was concerned going in because Late to the Party had lost their previous match, but it was close and they'd won a lot of points. So I never ever underestimated them. I knew that they were forced to be reckoned with, and sure enough, it came down to 1 point. It was a 1 point difference. We both gotten Jimmy Stewart in an American Tale 2 right. We would be having a different conversation today. So I have nothing but respect for them as competitors. I wish we hadn't lost, but yeah, we came to play. I think we played a good game. Obviously, we didn't get every question right. That was a mistake. We should have gotten them all right. But yeah,
everybody's human. You didn't get any even the Hitchcock category kind of stumbled a little bit, which was surprising.
Yeah, that was tough. There was the two questions that we got wrong. One was about The Man Who Knew Too Much, which is a movie I have seen, and it is one of several key highlighted sequences that Hitchcock had directed without dialogue, without a lot of cuts, Psycho being the other most famous example. We picked one or the other. We figured Psycho was more likely to be the answer to a question. And obviously we were wrong about that. And I feel bad because that's a great sequence in a good movie. As for stage fright, man, I've seen almost every synchronized sound Hitchcock movie. That's one of the two I hadn't seen. The other was Under Capricorn. Oh, wait. Have I seen Wrong Man? There's like 3 I haven't seen. And man, I picked the wrong one.
Oh,
that's all there was to it. I picked the wrong one.
That's just being human. It's a shame though, because having critically acclaimed there still would be really good marketing for Cancel Too Soon. Just
sure would.
It would be fantastic. All right, so let's move on to your match with Sam Levine. This match again was a round 1 loss, and it made me sad, made a lot of the Growling Commandos upset. But what were your thoughts going into that match and about it?
It's hard to stay mad at Sam. Like he's not like a really antagonistic player. So, and I think that's one of his strengths as a player is that he sneaks up on you, like he catches you off guard. So you're having fun. Like when you're in a match with Sam, sitting right next to him. And bear in mind, I've only met Sam like 4 times before this, so we're not like close friends or anything like that. But you feel like you're just hanging out with Buddy, and you let your guard down. Now, I think I did very respectably in the first round. And then, man, that second round was it was a new category. We didn't know what to expect. I thought I was on safe ground because I watch a lot of festival movies, but those questions were super duper specific, and I got them wrong. I should have known them. Don't feel too bad for not knowing Paul Dano's character's name in Little Miss Sunshine.
Totally.
I don't feel like that makes me a loser, but like I did lose, so maybe it does. I don't know.
That's a specific character name that going to a festival you can't really retain that knowledge, so to speak.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Speaking of that, what is your thoughts on the Festival Darlings category? Like, do you think they should keep it?
Oh, I think they should keep it. I think it's a good category. I was actually excited to get that category. I really thought it was a good idea. I think that there is a lot of emphasis on very mainstream movies, and that's fine, but it was good to have, a category or two that kind of stepped outside of that realm, and you could get questions about Whiplash outside of the drama category. You could get questions about Little Miss Sunshine, or I don't know, Moonlight or Boyhood, or even you could get some weird cult stuff in there too. That would be really, really great. I'm not super happy with the questions I got, but I think anyone who gets no questions right over the course of a round will be unhappy with the questions they got. I think maybe I hope we look hard at that category and make sure that category isn't like weirdly hard, like atypically hard. But that's all a matter of debate. That's all subjective. So if everyone thinks that round is fine and they don't want to change a thing, okay, fair enough. But be warned, that's a tough category.
Of course, and it could be kind of discouraging. I would assume to like lose round one after like everything that has happened. Yeah, I know. What are your plans on bouncing back? Like, what are your plans moving forward?
Well, I plan to bounce back. Actually, is my plan. It's tricky because we're near the end of the season and there's not a lot because we still have. They're going to be dominated by the singles Ultimate Schmoedown, and
there's that break in between. I think
there's like a middle chunk. I think where there's going to hopefully be some matches, like between the end of the singles Schmoedown and then the spectacular.
Yeah.
But hopefully there'll be a middle chunk in there where we can swoop in, and I would love to get at least one more win under our belt before the end of the year, because this has been a very frustrating year. We're just half and half, basically. We get ahead, we get knocked back. We get knocked back, we move ahead. It's always just forcing us into this one position, and we can never quite move out of it. And I think what we've proven, even though, again, we lost the team match, I lost another singles match, even the Levine match was pretty close. Like, it wasn't like a KO or anything. So I was still, like, I was in an okay position. It came close. I'm mad at Jeff Daniels, but that's okay. Yeah, no, I think we're respectable, and I don't think on the surface, our track record fully articulates just how much we have to offer as a team, and indeed how close some of those games were.
That is a fantastic point, and it just sucks that you guys aren't going to have that opportunity. Like, we're not probably going to see Whitney for the rest of the year, which sucks mad hardcore, because he has a lot of talent.
I know, and I would love to try to bring him in more. I keep trying to shove him towards the studio, desperately trying to get him in there.
And who do you call it? Alonzo might have a singles match or something. Christian said that would be.
I don't know if that's true. If so, I hope so. Alonzo Duralde is one of my best friends in the industry. He's one of the smartest people I know. He's written multiple books that are totally worth reading.
He's amazing.
He's fantastic, and he's super smart. And I think if memory serves, his match at the Free for All was very respectable. And then his team match with Christy Lemire, they just had a bad run of the wheel. It was basically just boiled down to movie release dates, and they were close, but not close enough, because that's a very specific category. So Alonzo's another one who, again, if the wheel doesn't completely screw him, he will kill at this. He's so talented and so smart.
Yeah, his match with What the Flick, he kind of got screwed over by that movie release date thing, and it drowned him out because he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic personality. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go to the fan question, because a lot of these have to deal with the Schmoedown, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, so the first one is, Bibbs, how do you come up with your entrances? Do you have a routine? By Scott Zielinski.
I love doing entrances, and I've had a lot of ideas for entrances that are just too expensive. Like I actually there were 2 entrances I wanted to do. Each one would have cost about $500. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing those. So what I initially did was I wanted to do some kind of flashy, but I kind of wanted to work with what I had. And most of the costume elements for the Beast were things I had already dressed up as at Halloween or something. So I incorporated those. And then other than that, I think about movies usually. The summer barbecue version of me was actually somewhat inspired by the Overwatch summer games, because I just liked the idea of doing a summer fun version and kind of stepping outside that little wheelhouse. I'm trying to think of the other entrances I've done. For the Saw thing, we really wanted there to be in the critically acclaimed entrance. We wanted there to be some continuity between my singles and then the team, and then we wanted the team to kind of become its own thing. So we'll branch out a little bit more, I think, as time goes on and find the right groove with me and Whitney.
And maybe you'll be able to do those expensive ones down the line.
That would be nice.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be nice. I'll need to start making more money. But yeah, I usually start off with thinking about what's a good entrance from a movie. What's an iconic entrance from a movie? What's an iconic character that I can work with? And then I kind of just see what's feasible from there. And if it makes me laugh, I want to do it. And if it doesn't make me laugh, I don't want to do it. The Predator one was actually super last minute, though. I think that was just oh god, what can I do? I'll be invisible. That's it. That doesn't cost anything.
That was a cool effect too.
Okay, good job.
The next question is by Aixa Martinez. She asks, who does critically acclaim want to take on next?
Oh, that is a great question. Yeah. I mean, we want top 10. I don't know if we were going to get them next because there are rules. You know, you have to be at the same number of wins or the same ratio, and I don't think we're quite there yet because we're a new team anyway. And honestly, all the tops above the line, team action. I want to rematch with Late to the Party. Those guys are great, and I want to prove what we can do. If I had a team that I would love to take on soon, it would actually be MODOK. They're great. Matt and Gray are wonderful. They're super talented, and they always bring their A game to the theatricality. So no matter who wins, I think the audience will win. It'll just be a fun experience.
That would just be great chemistry because it'd just be like an episode of What the Flick, basically.
Basically,
with questions. All right. Okay. Who do you think will win the teams and singles tournament? What are your 2 predictions on that? By Corey Quinto.
So for teams, we've got it down to the final 2 already, and it's team action versus above the line. I'm kind of happy with either of those teams winning. Obviously, I prefer to win. As long as top 10 doesn't win, I'm pretty satisfied. I don't know. It's hard for me to see above the line not getting it because Drew knows his stuff and Sam Levine compliments him very well. But team action kind of blew us all away. They really, every match they did a really good job. They've earned their new clout. They've earned their new fan base, I think.
I have to apologize to them.
I know, and I'm sorry about that. But I think if I had to pick someone I'm rooting for, I'm probably rooting, as much as weird as it sounds, for Drew and Sam. They're great, they're talented, and I think it's theirs if they don't screw it up and weird out on family movie questions or something. As for singles, I'm really in the corner right now. There's a couple of people who I really want to see get it. I would love to see Brienne get it. I would love to see Rachel Cushing get it. Clark, everybody. There's a lot of really talented people. I would just love to see get all up in there. I sent Sam out as my avatar. I will be happy if he gets it to the end. I see that as he defeated me and then he becomes me. Yep. And I just sort of infiltrate his body like a spirit.
You get defeated by the champion. You get it kind of makes you feel better than just losing.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I want him to succeed so I look better.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Oh, this is a cruel one. I don't know why they put this one in. Okay. How does it feel that the Growling Commandos have the fewest amount of members on the MTS Facebook page? That's true.
It is true, and it's depressing. And the fact that we have any fans at all is the fact that we have any fans at all is super thrilling to me, and it's super flattering. And I honestly think that number is going to grow. I think you're going to give us an opportunity to show our stuff again. And again, I have this reputation for crap in the bed, like right at the end, but it always comes pretty close, except for the JTE match. And I think we need to retroactively rethink that JTE match, because JTE has proven himself to be one of the best contenders in the league. I lost to one of the best, and I don't think there's as much shame in that as there was initially when he was coming off of a long series of losses. So yeah, I think every Growling Commando, personally, from the bottom of my heart, from the cockles of my heart, I thank you for your support. I know it's sometimes a rough road, but we are going to make it worthwhile at some point. Hopefully soon.
It'll be soon. Who knows? Maybe you'll have another JT moment where you lose maybe a couple matches, but then you become king. Who knows what happens?
This was a thing that I'm not a sports guy, so this was a thing that was really weird for me to accept, the idea that you could lose and people might still like you as a player.
Of course.
Like that was new to me. I'm not really a sports guy. I assumed that if you lost matches, everyone turned on you. No. But no, everyone's been really supportive. Well, not everybody, but everybody who has been really supportive in even our losses has been really just instrumental to keeping us going. So thank you.
Oh, totally.
Growl, everybody. Growl.
Another one. Okay. Beast, how does it feel that Chris has overhyped you and doing so cursed you when it has become to the Schmoedown? The Chris Clark curse.
I think overhyping is always a curse. I regret. I thought it would be like reverse psychology, and I realized now it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. When I overhyped Sam in my intro, I made him destined to win.
It's true.
I don't know what I was thinking. It's such an embarrassment. But Chris, you've been such a big booster for us, and we really thank you for it. And we know it's not always easy. I know it's not always easy for you.
Nope. I get so much shit.
Fair enough. And if you ever turn on us, we won't blame you.
Will never. We have our own hashtag now, Sigh.
I've said it many times. So yeah, no, listen. Chris, maybe I'm not overdue for a win, but I think Chris is. I think he's overdue. I think people need to cut him some slack. So thank you.
Between you and Rob, it's rough. It's all cool. Okay. Okay. Here are two Schmoedown questions before we get into some general stuff. What movie has surprised you the most as being good or bad this year? By Eli McKegg.
Oh, that's a good question. One second, let me take a look. I have it on my computer. I have my list of movies I've seen so far this year. I don't want to forget something awesome. Captain Underpants is way better than it has any right to be.
Wow.
Like, with a title like Captain Underpants, we all were thinking maybe it'll be cute. It is so funny. It is so mischievous, and it really captures that sort of imaginative after-school afternoon where you're just at home sitting on the floor of your bedroom drawing comics when you're a kid. Like, it feels like the closest we'll ever get to a Calvin and Hobbes movie. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how good that turned out to be. I was very disappointed that Beauty and the Beast, Bill Condon's live-action version, really didn't bring anything to Beauty and the Beast. I was very disappointed that even like something like Maleficent or the Alice in Wonderland movies, which have serious problems, they at least had a take. There was a reason to make that in live action other than we're just doing it again for money. And it feels like every addition they made in Bill Condon's Beauty and the Beast was either a distraction or it created a plot hole or it made you question things you never questioned before, and now the whole story doesn't work. On top of that, I thought it was a rather kind of murky, unattractive looking movie. So that one kind of bothered me. I was really disappointed. I was looking forward to that. I love the original Beauty and the Beast. I love the original Beauty and the Beast, the Jean Cocteau version. And that was just a huge disappointment, and it's still one of my least favorite movies of the year. All
right. The last one is, and by the way, take through member Evan DeGraff is going to love the fact you love that Captain Underpants. Thoughts on separating art from artists, like in the case of Roman Polanski and Victor Salo. Yeah. Aaron Turner asked that. He's right here.
That's a great question. And that is a difficult question, and that's the sort of thing that critics tackle a lot. And when you think about film, let's just focus on film individually as a medium, because it's a little different because it's so collaborative.
Yep.
There's a chance that someone who works on any movie is a jerk, a monster, evil. There's a serial killer who has a small role in The Exorcist. That's true. That's really weird. It's messed up. Audiences get to decide where they want that line to be drawn. At what point do you care so much about something, some despicable thing someone involved in the film has done, that you don't want to see the movie, or that you can't support the movie regardless, that you can no longer separate the art from the artist. And I will never tell anyone where to draw that line. That is a perfectly reasonable concern to have. As a film critic, I often have to see these movies, and I am forced to ask myself, if it's good, what can I really say about it? Often they're not, but sometimes they are, and we have to have a difficult conversation. I don't support Victor Salva's career in any way, shape, or form. I have not seen Jeepers Creepers 3. I have no desire to, and fortunately, no one asked me to, and I didn't have to, make a tough choice. I don't think it would have been tough, but I would have had to turn down work. That didn't happen. Not that that wouldn't have been fine. I would have been totally fine with it. My point is, I never had to make that decision. It was just, I don't want to see it, therefore I don't. Yeah, look, it's tough out there. We're all trying to be the best person we possibly can be. We're all trying to support the art form we love without supporting horrible people. And we're making decisions about that every single day. And sometimes they're easy. Sometimes they're weird and difficult. And just err on the side of whatever your morality and ethics tell you, basically, that's what I can say.
That's basically all you can do. All right, Bibbs, home stretch. Now, let's get back into some general stuff. Where did your interest in films begin, and when did you first want to become a film critic?
Okay. I mean, like all people in like my generation, I grew up watching TV and movies, and I was very fortunate to have a mom who thought that a film education was just as important as an education in books or any other art form, and that I should be well versed. So when I was a kid and I wanted to rent Spider-Man cartoons, she also insisted that we rent Mrs. Miniver or Citizen Kane or Strangers on a Train, and this was me when I was like 7. So it started very, very young, and I was very, very obsessed with classic cinema for a long time. And that never went away. I've always been interested in it as an art form, what it can do, what it has done in the past. It's exciting to me. When I first saw Citizen Kane when I was like 9, I was so excited. I wrote a paper about it. It wasn't an assignment. I just wanted to write a paper about it. And then like throughout high school and college and stuff, I kept writing criticism. And I realized after a while that there's that saying that writers write. And I realized that what that means is whatever you can't stop writing, that's pretty much what you're supposed to do. And I can't stop writing criticism. So I haven't. And I've been very fortunate that I've been able to turn that into something of a career. It's difficult to do. And I'm proud of that fact. But, it's the sort of thing that I don't know what else I would do. I would probably be unhappy doing anything else. So this is my life now.
Of course, indeed. Next question is something I'm actually very curious about. When did you first meet Whitney?
Whitney and I, for those who don't know, is, of course, my co-competitor on Critically Acclaimed. He was also my co-host on the B-Movies podcast and my current co-host on Cancel Too Soon. Whitney and I were neighbors. We lived next to each other in an apartment complex a couple, doors away. And we'd lived next to each other for a while. I want to say about a year before we'd even spoken to each other. And what happened was, this was late 2000s, and I was at home. It was a really hot summer day in Southern California. It was like 100 degrees out, so the front door was open to let air in. And I was playing Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s, and he bursts into the door. Again, I don't really know him. And he just yells, "Is someone playing Limousine?" And indeed, that is what I was playing on Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. And from there, we were basically friends. And I found out that not only was he interested in film, that he was trying to pursue film as a career. He was working at a local movie theater. He was writing on the side. He had a blog at the time. And it all worked out. I got a job at Crave Online. They wanted me to start a podcast. And I had to find a co-host. And he was one of the people I thought of. And I asked Jonathan London from Geekscape, who had Whitney on his show, if he thought Whitney would be a good co-host. And he was like, yeah. And so it all kind of went on from there. And we ended up spending about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours recording podcasts a week for like the last 6.5 years.
Wow. So that was the birth of the B Movies podcast.
Pretty much, just Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s and a hot summer day.
Damn, dude. All right. When did you get involved with the Young Turks Network? What do you call it? The
What the Flick.
What the Flick. There you go.
Yeah, I knew the people who were doing What the Flick. People like Matt Atchity and Alonzo and Christy Lemire. I was closer with some of them than others. And I just kind of just saw them at various screenings and things. And I said, hey, if you ever need someone to sub in, let me know. And then finally one day they did. I can't remember offhand what the first movie was, but they brought me in for something, and then they needed someone to co-host television reviews of Hannibal, and they knew that I was a big fan. So I went in and did that with Ryan Turek, formerly of Shock Till You Drop, works at Blumhouse. They just kept me on because they needed people for TV stuff, and I guess they thought I was pretty good at it, and now I'm doing that on the regular. I kind of sat out most of September just for weird scheduling things, but I'm back now, and I'll be doing more stuff in October.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know that my song got this wrong, but when did you first get Sergio, and how did he come with that name? I want to ask about Sergio.
Well, Sergio is not my cat. Sergio is my wife Michelle's cat. And when we moved in together, Sergio was part of the package. And Sergio is he's a gray Russian blue 13-year-old cat. Who is kind of too smart for his own good, and he's figured out how to get inside of cupboards and trash cans and various food containers that are supposed to be cat proof. Sergio was named after all of the Italian directors named Sergio. So Sergio Leone, Sergio Corbucci, Sergio Solima, all of the Sergios. That's where Sergio got his name. I did not name Sergio. Sergio had been around a long time before I got to him. Oh, cool. But I was the one who, I guess, takes the most pictures of him and puts them on the internet.
Him and Whitney.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. How did the Cancel Too Soon podcast start?
Cancel Too Soon started off as an idea that Whitney pitched to another website as, I believe it was just going to be a print series focusing on television series that were canceled too soon. And it's an idea that has been done before, but usually it's just one article. These 10 shows lasted only one season. How interesting is this? And we really wanted to focus on one at a time, watch the entire thing, and tell you everything about them. When the idea was rejected, it was kind of just put back in our hands, and we just thought it'd be kind of a neat idea for a podcast, and we researched it for a bit. Seemed like a good idea, and then we kind of sat on it for over a year, as we were just not sure if we wanted to put forth the extra effort. And then it was our annual Oscar wager, and the loser, I think the winner got to add a new thing to the podcast, and I won. And I thought to myself, well, screw it, let's just do another podcast. That will be the thing that we add to it. And so we created the Cancel Too Soon all on our own. It was a weird experience, kind of figure out all the logistics of that. We just kind of bought the Libsyn account and moved on from there.
That's fantastic. All right. My last question, Bibbs. Moving forward, what are your plans for the B Movies podcast? I know you guys have been toying around maybe with some things?
Yeah, well, when the B Movies podcast ended, we were pleasantly surprised to discover that a lot of people were really upset by it and really wanted us to continue.
Yes.
And keep doing something similar. We thought, well, people will just get their fill of us with Canceled Too Soon, and then we realized a lot of people wanted us to keep doing movie reviews and talking about movie news, and so we initially said, let's take a couple of weeks off. We're kind of smarting from this, and we will reconvene. And then some logistical things happen, and if we start the podcast up again, I'll explain how it all worked. But basically, the idea of moving forward got delayed a bit. We couldn't really confidently have a conversation about starting another podcast until just recently. And we started talking about it, and there's no announcement to be made yet. But we are closer to an announcement than we have been since the B Movies podcast ended.
That's fantastic. All right,
I hope
Bib,
so.
I'm very optimistic because that was basically my movie talk. I loved it so much. And I know Aaron loved it and everybody did. So
thank you.
So Bibbs, where can people find you?
Well, right now I still write for craveonline.com. I've been doing some writing for IGN lately, and you can hear me every week on Canceled Too Soon, which is available on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. Other places online as well. We're on Twitter at CanceledCast. I'm at William Bibbiani. And you can also watch me on What the Flick. And starting next week on What the Flick, I'm going to be doing sort of a mini-series about some of the best horror movies of the century so far, with a revolving panel of guests, some of whom fans of the Schmoedown will recognize. So.
Beautiful, Bibbs. And you can also subscribe to their Patreon, which is in the link in the description below. Thank you guys so much.
I forgot our Patreon.
Let's actually, before I leave, why don't we give Bibbs enough time to explain the Patreon?
We have a Patreon for Canceled Too Soon because doing that podcast takes a long time and it prevents us from doing other things. Like we watch an entire season of television every week most of the time. So we have a lot of subscribers, and we offer things like bonus episodes every month. We offer an opportunity to choose an episode of the show every single month to our subscribers. We have exclusive videos. There's some merch in there. It's a lot of good stuff. So thank you, everybody who already subscribes, and I hope to see more of you there.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Thanks, Chris.